Hello, fans and lovers and people and enemies and stuff. Okay, sometimes it's really hard for me to come up with a good reason for why I made a video. But the thing is, the reason that I don't come up with a good reason to make a video is because I'm living in a kind of high stream, multi-dimensional universe, and translating it down to your level is like trying to talk to insects. You know, it's like imagine if you was trying to talk to a cockroach. You know, let me just try and make a more plausible explanation. Okay, let me just try and think of it like this. Imagine a butterfly trying to talk to a caterpillar. Think of it like that. Does that kind of make more sense? You know, does that make me seem a bit less like a crazy person? Hopefully it does, you know, and yeah, so if we try to think of it like a caterpillar being spoken to by a butterfly, you know, so you can try to look at it like that. You know, you have a transformation ahead of you and it's going to be amazing, but it's going to seem to you like it's a bad deal because you've been like a caterpillar for months. You know, you was an egg before that, you was a caterpillar. You know, you've been living for months and years, you know, well, not years, but, you know, in your term, years, you know. But from the cat, you know, the analogy of the caterpillar and the butterfly, you've been living for weeks, and the caterpillar, the butterfly is only going to live for maybe 3 days, 3 or 4 days, maybe. So it seems like a terrible bargain from the caterpillar's point of view. But the thing is, the caterpillar hasn't got anywhere else to go. You know, it's got no other options. And the butterfly is trying to, or the moth is trying to explain to the caterpillar that, hang on, you know, it's not like you've got any real options here. This is how life works. I'm just here to try and smooth it along for you. I'm trying to explain to you that, you know, things are looking good. You've done a really great job. You know, now you have to go into hibernation. You got to become a hermit. You got to take the hermetic path. You know, you got to isolate yourself from all those so-called friends and family. And this is one of those things that's been like in the Eastern traditions anyway, you know, and in some ways, you know, on the Western traditions, we've realized for a long time that when people want to go on the path, they have to go and live in a cave, you know, in the side of a mountain, away from everyone, because people will like grasp at you when they see you're doing when they understand you're doing the work in their sort of subconscious. They're like crabs in a bucket, as my old friend, who I hardly ever see anymore, almost never see anymore, Queen Bee Knightley, who pointed this out to me, and, you know, told me this thing about crabs in a bucket. You know, people are like crabs in a bucket. You know, when they see someone coming out of the matrix, they will try and grab hold of them to, you know, ostensibly to sort of also help themselves out the mud, like it was a ladder. Oh, look, so there's a way out. You know, let's grab hold of these legs. You know, and they inevitably drag the person who's escaping out the matrix back into the matrix. You know, it's one of those things. You have to disassociate from people, and then those people interpret that as though you're going crazy. You know. So you get into this position where you can't win. You can't discuss it with them. Whatever you say, however plausible, however spiritual and rational and reasonable it is, they will interpret it as though you've gone crazy because you're not thinking like they do, which is thinking bad. And that is why you're trying to escape from these people and their whole like crazy world destroying sort of like mania. Oh, hey HRC. Oh yeah, I know. She's a total cow, you know. One of the things, right, about these hot retarded women, you know, when they're not quite retarded enough, they can be like a bit of hard work, you know, and it's unfortunate for them that us decent guys, you know, the real hardcore militant masculinity kind of like heroes, because we are really heroes, you know. We're preserving masculinity as it needs to be preserved. I mean, I'm not 100% sure about everything that you do over there, HRC, but you know, the mystery of women, you know, it's the mystery of women. I know they have interesting insights. I mean, anyone can have interesting. Everyone's got interesting insights. You know, if you bother to sort of like torture them enough, if you can torture them enough to that they will tell you their deepest, darkest secrets, then everyone has got interesting insights about stuff. You know, that's what I found anyway. So one of the other things I want to do on this video, because it's like I can see it's one of those videos that's not going to go very well. Nobody's going to listen to it, so it doesn't really matter what I say. You know, I've gone past that 7-minute mark. There's hardly any even up here, even though I've got comments here, and there must be someone watching. Apparently, you're a ghost, HRC. I've suspected this for quite a while now, at least an hour. You know, I've been suspecting that maybe you're a ghost. You're not a real person. And on my screen here, it says the amount of viewers I've got is 0. And over here, I've got 3 comments already, and they're all from HRC. And I'm just thinking, it's not a real person. My God, the internet, right, is my God, because I don't really have any choice about it, you know. Even if it wasn't my God, I wouldn't reveal that publicly. I'd have to, you know, pretend that my real God is the internet, right? So anyway, my real God, the internet, whether or not it's my real God or not is irrelevant, because I can't make this video and hope it to stand up if I don't lie through my teeth and say that, you know, the internet is my real God. Whether it is or not, it doesn't really matter. As far as I can understand it, that's how it works. You know, it's like if I want to make progress here and make videos, I basically have to sell, or at least on surface, pretend to sell my soul to the devil. In terms of saying that, like, the internet is the one true God. Now I don't even now in brackets now. Now the internet, you can just switch off. You know, just sort of like I'm holding a hand up here, so you can't see what I'm saying, right? Okay, so that's for the internet. And you other people, I'm just going to whisper so you can't, you know. Actually, I'm not the one true God. I'm just a normal person. Okay. I just got a stupid idea, and I'm just having a little laugh with everything, you know, just having a bit of fun. Okay, but don't tell anyone, because otherwise they won't punish me properly, and then I will lose street cred. So it's really important that nobody really takes any notice of me for the moment. Okay. Right, so and of course, I want my channel to grow as much as possible. I want people to take me seriously. I mean, if only people would take me seriously. I mean, the things I want people to take seriously is like, I mean, you don't know. You do know, but you pretend you don't know because it's difficult to deal with reality. Okay, these things I imagine are going to take a lot of time to sort of work through. You're basically all traumatized and in denial about it. Probably, I suspect. You're probably in denial. You're probably in denial about it, and what that does, right? If it's really happening, is what it does is it puts you in a sort of like a state of like tunnel vision, where you are looking at things in oh, sorry HRC, I was ignoring you. I'm just going to pay you some attention because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You've hit the magic number now. That's a perfect number of comments. 6. I'm going to read your comments now. Good morning. Thank you. Good morning to you as well. I don't exactly know why it's a good morning, but if you say it is a good morning, you know what? For the moment, because there's no one else to contradict you, I'm going to agree with you and say, oh, well, maybe it does seem like a good morning. At least it's nice, warm weather here where I am. And that's because it's so unusual, it's like a sort of like it's got its own novelty value. It's 20. Let me just go and check the temperature. Yeah, see what we've got here. Oh, I don't believe it. Look at that. 31.8. That is about the hottest it's been. I think once in my life, in where I live now, I saw it get to 32 or 33. Look, it's already 31.9 centigrade. That's like, it's like I'm just sweating. I'm just sitting there. I'm doing nothing. I'm just sweating. You got to remember, this is England, right? I'm on the south coast of England. It's usually raining all the time and cold and miserable and damp. I mean, I know it's the summer and stuff, but we often, for years, we've had summers, for decades, we've had summers with just like cloudy, miserable weather, maybe 17 degrees, 16, 17 degrees, like high, and stuff like that. And like miserable, like cloudy weather, rain, all the way through the summer, hardly any, just the odd few like sunny days, not really enough to sort of make any difference to your life, And last year we had a really great year, in terms of loads of sunshine, loads of warm weather. And today it's going to end more or less. This evening it's going to get cold again, I'm pretty sure. But it's been really warm. It's extremely warm. It's like tropical weather. We don't experience this very often here. We go years without experiencing this. It's nearly 32. It's basically 32 degrees centigrade. That's like fucking hell. We never experience that. It's like it's really hot. I'm just sitting here sweating. This is a pointless video. What's the point of me talking about this? Okay, some of the other things I wanted to talk about, our language. Our language has been basically destroyed. We've got too much sweaty, sticky, sort of like elastic words that are just like just a load of nonsense, really, and they are not useful. And more what we call more primitive people had more concrete languages with a lot less words, but more concrete words, more strong words, you know, and only a few abstract words. Now we've developed this language which is got loads of abstracts but very few concrete words. And how that interprets to people that don't understand, you know, all the nuances of how languages are made up. What that means is that we can't communicate with each other properly about anything that's a little bit complicated. If it's a little bit complicated and it involves a certain amount of nuances, what the problem is, our language has got too many abstracts and not enough concretes. And what that means is that when people have too many choices for too many ways of expressing their thoughts, and they inevitably choose a whole system of expression that is incomprehensible to 99% of other people who hear it. You know, and not only that, it's because people partly know this. You know, a lot of people are aware of this to some extent, not the full extent maybe for most people, but for some extent they try to, you know, compromise. So they use up a lot of energy trying to make their words more effective and more like concrete and easy to understand. And this takes a lot of energy for these people, and most of the time it doesn't have a great deal of effect, you know. So they end up wasting their energy trying to communicate with people and end up dying. And the people that have got an actual real like desire to help people to understand, because they're forced to use a language that doesn't work and that is fucking fake and is compromised, they end up dying trying to save people and trying to explain to people that our language is fucked up. Because you can't use a language that is fucked up to explain to people that their language is fucked up. How can you do that? It's like, just to think about, this is the problem, right? How can I, as someone who realizes our language is fucked up, explain to you in terms of using our language how exactly our language is fucked up when it's already fucked up? Just, you know, leave your comments here. There's a £1 million bonus and prize for anyone who can clearly explain why what I've just said is, you know, like a challenge to you, and what the answer to the challenge is, and etc. etc. I'm sure we can, you know, we'll work something out. You know, I'm quite a reasonable person. If I can find the right language to communicate in, I'm sure I could be reasonable. But up until now, let me just, okay, I wanted to end this video. I suppose I'll have to just quickly look at HRC's comments. Arguing with Q is difficult, yeah. She has done some interesting blah, blah, blah. No, YouTube is fucking you, dude. Well, you know, not 100%. Laugh out loud. I'm glad you can laugh about stuff, you know, HRC. I laugh about stuff, you know, and when I laugh about stuff, I feel better. So I imagine that when you laugh about stuff, you feel better as well. And that makes me feel better. The idea that you're feeling better about laughing and stuff, and especially if you associate it with my videos, that's fucking great. That's like 7.5 out of 10, you know, I suppose. Because I see you haven't thumbed up my video, even though I've nearly been thumbing up all of your videos, or most of them. You know, it's just that sometimes I get a little bit envious. I don't mean to, but you know, when you don't thumb up my video, it's like, well, you know. You can't expect me to thumb up yours then, can you? You've got so many more thumbs up than mine. You know, you've got like a huge following. Oh, did you? Well, it doesn't show up. I'm sorry. Yeah, I suppose I can't trust her. Well, thanks for throwing up my video, HRC. Thing is, I can't trust YouTube. That's the thing. What are the other options? You know, I know if you try to sort of like try other options, the wolves will follow you. They'll follow your trail of blood, you know, and they will like get to you in the end, you know. No, you just think you do. Nobody always thumbs up my videos. I've had so many videos with no thumbs up. See, I'm thinking at the moment, you know, I've got loads of possible videos to make, but so many of them are like going to be made by other people as well. And I don't really see the point of that. If my videos aren't unique, they're not really worth making. You know, if I'm just copying someone else's video, then I don't really see the point. Now, right. Let me just try and explain to you people why I feel that the idea that the written word is a great evil and a very very bad idea, and why I need to keep like pushing this idea is because nobody is going having a conversation with me about it. Yeah, see, just the distraction from HRC. He's trying to distract me from the truth. You know, why is nobody talking about the written word? Now, one of the things about people who are like hooked into the left brain awareness. Now, this is, I'm a research institute scientist, really. You can research this book, right? The Master and His Emissary. This is about the left and right side brains. Okay, when I think about talking about it, so I'm looking at the book here. I'm looking at the picture on the front. You know, this picture with the guy with a bit of mirror in his hand, and it's got an eye in the mirror. You know, and it's almost, you know, like the compulsion. You know, if you see like a pornographic like video, right? Some people will just turn it off because they don't like it. But if you sit and like watch it for a few seconds, you can start getting drawn into it, right? Now, this is the same kind of thing here. It's like immediately it's, repellent. You don't want to think about it. The right and left brains, it's like, people generally like to think of themselves as a single, whole organism. I'm a human person. I have a living soul. I am a living soul. I'm just what I am. My immediate understanding of myself is the true understanding of myself, right? But science and stuff, and careful consideration of how people behave and react to various different stimuli will demonstrate that people have like a split personality. Their brains act in different ways under different circumstances, and according to what side of your brain you have a predominance to, that's going to define what sort of person you are, and how your life goes. Although that is not like a clear statement. It's almost impossible to make absolute clear statements about these kind of phenomena, because both sides in some ways kind of mirror each other. But they do seem to have very sort of definite characteristics that define themselves, and that are very distinct from one side to the other. So ultimately, it's very hard to talk about them, But also, if you can find a way of talking about them that people can understand, you can. It's very hard to talk about them, actually. You can think it's like I'm trying to make some sort of progress, but I've got some. What is my ulterior motive? What am I thinking? Why am I trying to make progress? Okay, let me just sort of like borrow your time. Why would I want to help you people to become more conscious and understand what's going on, right? So let's just assume that I'm God, right? I'm not saying that I'm God. I'm just going to, for the sake of this discussion, let me just assume that I'm God, right? And I've created all you people now. Now I want to explain to you, because you haven't quite understood what's going on here. I want to explain to you that you are creations basically out of nothing. Because before I was God, I was nothing, right? Just like you. Before you were human, you were gods. You were nothing, or gods. It doesn't really make any difference. You were gods as well, and nothing, So before we were created, we were all gods and we were all nothing. Does that seem plausible? One of the things about that is that explanation, whether it's true or not, it implies that we all should be equal, We're all the same. We all belong together. We're all part of the same plan. See, I like that. Thanks, HRC, for that confirmation. That's like hit me here in my heart a little bit, where can we go on from here? It's like I've got my ideas, but when I keep pushing my ideas, it's like I feel that it's like people think I'm trying to control everything. So in order to sort of get an idea of where other people want to go, let me just ask the question, where do other people think we should be going with these ideas? If we're starting to understand how the world works, we've got a better idea of like how to live in a good, wholesome way, where do we go from here? What's the next stage? You know, what's the next part of our development? Where do we go from here? Okay. Well, okay, you know, HRC, let me just try and like argue with you. I want to play devil's advocate here. You know, outer space, you know. Now, let me just think, like, just recently I've watched a video about how people have tried to work out how many Earth-like planets are out there in the universe, or at least in the Milky Way, which is our galaxy. Okay, so one of the things they've come up with is that there's a lot of space between my you know, my words, isn't there? Sometimes, you know, I know that's annoying, you know, and I know some people, right, make their videos and they shorten the space between their, you know, when they've got a gap between what they say that goes on for a long time and before they can think what to say, they edit the video, right? And I know a lot of people, you think that's probably a good idea. But to me, I don't think it's a good idea. I think what's a better idea is for me to explain to you why I don't think like that's a good idea, and use up that time and more explaining to you why you should listen to my videos and not listen to these people who shorten their videos. Because otherwise, what they're doing is they're pampering to your short attention span, you know. Whereas I am demanding that you learn to focus and be clear and understand what people are saying. And if necessary, it's very simple. Anyone can do it. All you got to do is stop the video and put it on your watch later list. That's all you got to do. Okay. Anyone can do that. If you can't pay attention, if you're not following what's going on, all you got to do is put it on your watch later list and watch it later when you're more, you know, have a bulletproof coffee, have half a modafinil, you know, and so that you can understand what I'm talking about. Because I'm getting seriously fed up with like trying to explain to people stuff that I'm sure they all really ought to really already know, you know. So anyway, this is the thing, right? One of the things I'm doing here, I'm just going to carry on rolling forward with my and if I crush you people and you don't understand what I'm doing, that's, as far as I'm concerned, it's your fault. You know, we've got a dumb, I've been talking about a dumbed down school system for fucking years. And if you can't get a hold of what's going on, if you can't grasp what's going on here with a dumbed down school system, you've been dumbed down. You know, you act stupid. When I tell you that you're stupid and point out to you stupid, it's not fucking personal. You know, I'm not being personal because this is why. This is the reason I keep mentioning the dumbed down school system, right? Because I want it to be very clear that when I tell you that you're stupid and fucking like an idiot, it's not personal. You know, we've got a dumbed down school system. Why aren't you talking about it? This is why I have to keep pointing out that you're stupid. I'm sure it doesn't do your egos any good when I keep pointing out you're stupid. So the most sensible thing for you to do is stop being stupid, right? Don't fucking give in to the fucking school system. Don't give in to your conditioning and programming. You know, go beyond it. And then I couldn't. If I said you were stupid, it wouldn't, you know, it wouldn't hold up, would it? But when I say you're stupid now, because it's true, you feel offended. You know, you feel like I'm telling you, I'm saying a horrible thing to you. But the thing is, the only reason it's offensive to you is because it's true. If it wasn't true, you would ignore it and you wouldn't be offended. You just sort of like, oh, anyone in their right mind, they ain't going to be offended. If a crazy person says that you're like the devil, are you going to listen to them, or are you just going to get on with your life and carry on enjoying your life, right? You know what, right there, I'm sure that there are people out there like you, HRC, you can follow through with this argument, right? And like lead it through its logical to its logical conclusion. And I won't have to do that because I'm not going to do it. I can't be asked. No one's going to appreciate me. But you could do it in an artistic way with humor, and people would appreciate you. And I tell you what, don't even like credit me with inspiration. I don't want to know. I'm just happy that you watch my channel and you comment, and we can sort of like, I feel like we're kind of like friends. So that's all the payment I need. So thanks for watching, thanks for commenting. I'm just going to sit here and read some of your comments before I switch off for a minute. Yay. Okay. I'm glad you think that, HRC. That's what I think as well. Okay. Bye everyone. Bye future watchers and space aliens who sort of like suck all these radio waves out the atmosphere and like read them and like sit there conspiring how to sort of like upset humanity. Thank you to you as well, because it's you space aliens that are trying to create genocide on the human race, that are like really what make everything so much more worthwhile going through. Okay. Ah. Ah. Do I sound miserable then? Yeah, it's like I'm looking at this. Now, talking about it, the thing is, right, talking about it doesn't really make a great deal of difference, but it might make some a little bit of difference just by letting people know that I am aware of this stuff. I have got tendencies towards depression. I was neglected as a child and stuff, and okay. The answers, I haven't got very coherent answers, but the thing is, I've sniffed like a few different smells that suggest the possibility, or the strong possibility, quite a strong possibility of answers coming up in the very near future. Maybe two or three good sniffs of different areas that, like, and so that means there's probably like 15 or 20, or at least, that are coming up in all different areas, and it's probably a lot more than that, because I'm not really that bright. Well, I am, but depends on how you look at it. The thing is, there's different types of intelligence. There's like you become certain high IQ. You become absorbed in certain areas. This is what I've noticed. Oh, I'm kidding. What are they talking about? Was I still just oh, that was the delivery. Ah, it was heavy. I had to deliver. I got a delivery. Dear. I wasn't expecting it today. I had an email. It's like, oh, it won't come today. Maybe it'll come tomorrow. You know, it's like suddenly got this like doorbell ring. I don't normally get doorbell rings. This is the thing about, doing the work. I've been very careful to sort of like screen out all my friends and family. I don't get any sort of disturbances, So I've been able to carry on with the work, and one of the things I found out is like, and it's one of these things that is this hilarious to me, and it's like I have to stick with it because it's like the heart of the truth of hilarity, hilarity. It's so funny that it just like I have to stick with it because it's just like hilarious, and it creates all this happiness and well-being for me and bliss and stuff, and that is that the big deception in the world is the written word, I know I tried talking to people about this and nobody would talk to me about it. But the thing is, right, what I've realized is that I must be right. Because statistically, if there was something wrong about what I was saying, somebody would have pulled me up on it by now. After like over 5 years of me making videos about it, almost like regular as clockwork, nobody has come up to talk to me about it and discuss it with me as if like, I know you're not all stupid. There's a lot of people who watch my videos that are like intelligent, people that have got like a good experience of life, and I know you're not stupid. You're not going to convince me that you're all fucking mad as hatters and stupid as fuck, I know partly you are because you can't accept what I'm saying about the written word. But beyond that, you're just like a general representation of normal people, maybe slightly above average intelligence because, of the sort of person I am, sort of videos I make, so even then, it goes to show that, it's like, generally speaking, you're not stupid. You're quite intelligent people. But even so, you still can't talk to me about the things, the videos that I consistently make videos about, like the written world. Now, I have to draw certain conclusions about that. It's inevitable. One of the things is that you people want me to, this is the Agent Smith side of you, right? Because you're in the matrix and you don't realize what you're doing. Just like Christ said when he was being crucified, forgive them, Lord, because they don't know what they're doing, right? So I kind of like know this. It's like, is this old hat stuff, It's like, this is my old hat, I was wearing this stuff years ago, decades ago. So where do we go from here? It's like I know you people are like you're in denial. Okay, let's go back 2,000 years ago, 2,500 years ago. There was a huge amount of people, just like you people, all in denial as well, just the same. I know that as well. It's not hard to find out. It's part of history. It's how history is written down. These are the basic bones. Basically, we only get the bones of history. And these are the bones of history I'm talking about. You don't have to be clever to work this out. This is why I don't get you people. It's almost like you are geniuses at acting stupid. Now, okay, just thinking about it, I'm sort of like thinking, oh no, what's happening here? Maybe because sometimes when I'm making these videos, they're live videos, I suddenly have realizations. Maybe you people, what you're trying to tell me is that you all need to be in ignorance, and that is the only way we can survive. It's like yeah, I'll tell you what, right now, I've been reading this book. I think I mentioned it at the beginning of the video. This guy, Ian McGilchrist, The Master and Emissary, The Divided Brain, and the Making of the Modern, the Western World. It's quite hard to work out, this guy, you can if you doing a YouTube search of this guy and this title, you can find like condensed videos. Whereas instead of having to read sort of how many pages is it? Over 500 pages, and it's really like there's a lot of words on each page. It ain't big writing, And there's an expanded version apparently, that's come out more recently. That's even bigger than this. It's probably like 600 pages or something. And there's a lot of words, and they're complicated words. And it's like I have to sit and think about it. And I can only read a few pages at a time. And I need like a few weeks to sort of like get my head together afterwards, so I can read a bit more. This is a sort of book that's going to take me years to read, probably. The rate I'm going. Ah dear. Oh. one of the things I've been watching is 48 Laws of Power, right? If you look on my favorites videos, you can see the 48 Laws of Power, and it's like quite a short video. It's like about less than half an hour, I think, about 20 or 30 minutes. And it tells you it might even be 17 minutes. It's only 17 minutes, but it's like it condenses them down into sort of like simple ways of understanding it. So it's highly conducive to the left brain sort of personality type. But also, as a right brain person, I find it perfectly okay as well. And very useful, and see, the thing is, the difference between a right brain person and a left brain person, right, is that a right brain person is looking at the big picture, and then they have to spend time, like this is what I have having to do here. I have to spend time when I go into my intuition to sort of like find ways of condensing the information that I'm seeing down into plausible words that I can use to then express what I'm seeing from my right brain. Whereas the left brain tends to already have a map of what's going on, a map of like all different representations, all different like areas of compartmentalizations, reductions, and what are they called? Conglomerations. Now, when people mass a whole load of stuff together and reduce it down to a word, or or like government, or love, or spirit, or soul, or body, or chair, whatever, any kind of word, that reduces a whole load of meanings down into a simple like block. And that's how the left brain deals with things. It wants those blocks. It wants blocks that it can put together and build. And it has in its mind, it has like instead of seeing the reality as it really is, like the right brain does, what it does is it has loads of little categories, like little blocks of categories, little like lists, that it has all in a lump, like in a sort of like pattern that it can relate to. It's like a map, it has a map of reality, and it can go to different areas. If you're not coming up with something that fits into its map, then it will disregard you. It will like treat you like with contempt. You don't make sense to it. So this is the problem when the left brain takes over, because it's sort of like it's like a balancing act. When you're born, you're more or less balanced with your left and right brains. And then what happens is you go into the school system, and you get pushed with reading and writing, and then that puts loads of extra weight in your left brain, and you become left-brained. You become, like the vast majority of people become completely left-brained, and then they're self-referencing. They're not looking at the right brain to get the right balance, because the right brain is what balances the left brain. But they stop doing that. When you feed people the written word, they stop using the right brain as a balance mechanism, because they stop seeing any value in it. They forget that is what informs all kinds of reason. This is difficult to explain to left brain people, but all your left brain stuff is effectively based on right brained perceptions and consciousness and intuition and knowledge. You know, the right brain is where you get all your foundation. It's the foundation of your reality. It's where your intuition is based. That's what your right brain is, your intuition. So when your left brain tries to sort of use reason and rationalization to sort of structure its own map of reality, what it effectively does is dissociate itself from reality and the foundations of reality, its own foundations. So it becomes like a ghost of itself. You know, and it does this in order to try and have certainty, because the problem with the right brain, it doesn't have certainty. It sees a vision, or an uninhibited vision of reality, how it really is, and it's all a fucking mystery. We don't understand it. I don't understand it. Nobody. I don't know anyone who does understand it. But that is the reality. That's where we are. That's what it means to be like a real human being. We understand that we don't know fucking anything about anything. We're all fucking stupid. No one knows anything. We're all like, so anyone who claims to know anything, well, no, but they haven't got any way of proving that, you know, or corroborating it. So we know they can't possibly know what they're talking about. So that's why we have all these religions, all based on faith, because faith is something that there's no proof for. It's just speculation, and people are like basically banking their money on it. The problem is that when enough of these people bank their money on these like absurd speculations about reality and the future, and the great big unknown, they more or less end up forcing other people to make the same like stake. And the problem is, if they're all wrong, they're all putting their eggs in one basket, and we end up we're potentially destroying the whole planet. This is what I'm afraid of. This is what I want people to help me with. I feel like we need to make dear. See, the problem is some of these people, the whole, what they're trying to accomplish is to destroy all life on Earth, right? That's their purpose. Now, it's hard to get them to admit that. It's hard to find these people and get them to admit that, because it's like, they're like secret agents. They're working for the devil. They lie through their teeth. They don't tell you what they're doing. But it seems as though there are people that genuinely want to destroy the whole fucking planet and all life on the planet. And one of the problems with this is that the vast majority of people are unwilling to believe that this is even a possibility. So if you could get people to realize that this is a genuine possibility, and these people are very intelligent and they're working diligently to try and destroy the whole fucking world, for reasons that are too strange for anyone to understand who's in their right mind. It doesn't really matter whether you can understand why they're doing it. It's irrelevant. They really are trying to do it. It's inevitable. There's fucking like 8 billion people. And we're all different. There's going to be some really fucked up people that are intelligent, and they're going to want to destroy the world. And the way things are going with the written word, we're giving them too many opportunities to make it easy for them. For one thing, right? And there is no justification for this, as far as I can tell. There's just no justification. It's not acceptable. It's too big a risk. No matter what the benefits of the written word are, they represent too many risks that are just unacceptable. Now, my logic tells me that everyone ought to accept this as a straightforward fact. But my experience tells me that you people are so deceived by all the pretty colors and bright lights and flashing lights and wonderful noises and stuff like that that you are just not going. You can't see reality for what it is. You can't see what's going on right in front of your face, and you are just basically working for the devil. You're pulling the devil's carriage for him. You're just struggling away, blind to what's going on, and you're doing the devil's work for him. And it's like, well, I need to, as far as I'm concerned, the only way for me to carry on is because people can see the same thing that I'm seeing, and we can start talking about it and make some sort of progress and try to sort of help these people, or at least save ourselves from these people. There must be some sort of like light at the end of the tunnel, maybe. Okay. Well, let me just quickly look at HRC's comments. How much have you drunk today, HRC? Is it like half a bottle of whiskey or something? Well, that's a horrible question, isn't it? Don't even answer that anyway. I'll assume that you've only just had some like coconut water and very good quality tea. Now you make me feel really bad now. Well, I'm finishing this video. I ain't got time for people like you. Go away. Leave me alone. Bye. Have a good day.